Victor, you're alive?
14 kills, 1 Marine standing. Do the math.
You know, it was one of those scorching afternoons in the middle of nowhere, Arizona. The kind where the heat waves dance off the asphalt like they're mocking you for even being out there. And this little dusty gas station off Route 66 was about as quiet as a forgotten ghost town until the thunder rolled in. 5 Harleys, engines growling like angry beasts, pulled up to the pumps with that unmistakable swagger, the Thunder Riders emblem gleaming under the sun, and out steps this giant of a guy. Mike Sledge Harlan, all 6 feet 5 inches of tattooed muscle, and a beard that looked like it hadn't seen a trim since the Reagan era, kicking his stand down like he owned the place. He storms into the store, door slamming so hard the bell nearly flies off, and barks at the clerk behind the counter, meek little Sarah Jenkins. Or so he thought. Hey, sweetheart, pump our gas and grab 3 packs of smokes while you're at it. His voice gravelly and demanding, like he was used to people jumping at his every word. But when she hesitated just a second too long, trying to keep her cool, his hand shot out, grabbing her wrist hard enough to bruise, yanking her close with a sneer that said he thrived on making folks feel small. Sarah, well, she wasn't one to make a scene, not at first anyway. Eyes downcast, voice steady but soft as she muttered, "Right away, sir." But Mike wasn't having it, his grip tightening like a vice, pulling her shirt collar in one rough tug that ripped the fabric clean open, exposing skin and something else he hadn't bargained for, his crew piling in behind him, laughing like hyenas. Phones out recording the whole thing for their twisted online fame, thinking this was just another day of pushing around the little people in a podunk town. But oh man, if they only knew what that torn shirt was hiding. It wasn't fear trembling in her stance. No, it was something coiled tight, ready to spring, years of buried fire waiting for the wrong spark. And as Mike leaned in closer, breath hot with beer and bravado, growling, "You think you're too good to serve us, huh? Look at me when I'm talking." Sarah's mind flashed back to darker days, battles fought in sand-swept hellholes where hesitation meant death. But here, in this fluorescent-lit cage of candy bars and lotto tickets, she held back, backing into the corner not out of cowardice, but instinct, positioning herself where the cameras caught every angle, feet planted in a way that screamed training to anyone who'd ever worn boots in combat. The air thickened quick, Mike's boys forming a half circle, trapping her against the counter, one of them his kid brother, Danny. Cocky with youth and a smartphone glued to his hand, snickering. "This'll go viral, bro, watch her squirm." But Sarah wasn't squirming, not really, her muscles tense but controlled, hand brushing the tactical pen in her pocket, the kind forged for operators who needed to blend in but strike hard, titanium strong with a grip that held even when your world's exploding. And Mike, fueled by whatever demons rode with him, maybe the ghosts of his own failed dreams, a guy who'd come home from the war broken in ways he wouldn't admit, turning to the road and the gang for that lost sense of power, lashing out at anyone who reminded him of his weakness. Esh reached again, fingers clawing at her arm, mocking, "Come on, doll, show us some real hospitality." But she slipped his grasp with a pivot so smooth it was like water, a move drilled into her bones from endless hours in the Corps' martial arts pits, leaving him blinking in confusion, sputtering, "What the hell was that? You some kind of Karate Kid wannabe." Meanwhile, old Mr. Nguyen, the store owner hiding in the back office, sweet guy, immigrant from Vietnam who'd built this place from nothing, always treating Sarah like family since she started working there 2 years back, quiet and reliable, never complaining about the late shifts or rude truckers. His hands shook as he dialed 911. Whispering frantic into the phone about the bikers terrorizing his best employee, peeking through the window and seeing Sarah hold her ground, keeping all 5 in her sight without flinching, her voice cutting through the tension calm as a desert night. "I don't want trouble, just take what you need and go." But that only pissed Mike off more, his face twisting because fear was his currency, the pleading and tears that fed his ego. And her composure? That was a slap, an insult to his fragile throne as the Thunder Riders' king, built on intimidation and the loyalty of lost souls like his crew, many of them vets themselves. Drifting after discharge, clinging to the gang for brotherhood they couldn't find elsewhere. He lunged then, grabbing her shirt again, tearing it wider this time. And there it was, the eagle, globe, and anchor inked across her chest, bold and unyielding. The Marine Corps insignia that stopped the room cold. One of the older riders, grizzled vet named Vic, paling like he'd seen a ghost, muttering, "Sledge, hold up that tat." But Mike, too deep in his rage, laughed it off cruelly. "A Marine? You? What? You quit after boot camp. Couldn't hack the real deal." His words dripping with sarcasm. That Mia my born from his own insecurities, a man who'd served but come back hollow, resenting anyone who might have done it better. And as he went for her once more, Sarah's response was lightning, deflecting his arm with a block so precise it echoed her recon days. Her voice booming now, not the clerk's whisper, but a sergeant's command. "Back off." Marine, slicing the air like a knife, freezing Mike mid-step, something familiar nagging at him. Buried memories stirring as Danny zoomed in on his phone, capturing the shift, the unease rippling through the gang. Those scars, though, 3 jagged lines across her collarbone. Shrapnel's cruel autograph. They hit Danny first, his face draining. "Mike, those marks. Dad's old pics from Iraq, remember? The ones from that hellish op. Their old man a grunt who'd drilled war stories into them. Tales of heroes and horrors." And Mike stared harder, doubt creeping in like sand in your boots, whispering, "No way." But Sarah stood taller now, no more cowering facade, shoulders square, chin up, radiating that quiet authority forged in fire. Her prosthetic fingers subtle, but there. Last 2 on her left hand, artificial after that blast, glinting under the lights as Vic demanded, "Show us your hand." Not a threat, but desperation. And when she did, the truth crashed down, Mike's world tilting, his voice cracking. "Jesus. We gotta stop this." She grabbed his wrist then, not to hurt but control, pressure perfect from years handling rifles and lives, locking eyes, and saying soft but steel-edged, "Outpost Delta, July 23, 2010, convoy hit at 1,600 hours." Words that punched him gut deep, flashbacks exploding, the burning MRAP, screams echoing in the canyon, Taliban swarming like shadows, and this figure emerging through the smoke, small but fierce, dragging him out while rounds whizzed, going back twice more despite the blood, holding the line alone against a dozen insurgents, her hand mangled but rifle steady. "Impossible," Mike gasped, legs buckling. "Spectre, they said Spectre died pulling us out, bled out in the evac." But Sarah released him, expression stone but eyes haunted. 2 hours straight, 14 hostiles down, 1 Marine stand, dingdo the math. And Danny's phone dropped, clattering as he pieced it together. Every vet in that region knowing the legend of Outpost Delta, the ambush that should have wiped the convoy. But Spectre turned it, saving 10 lives including Mike's, earning the Navy Cross but vanishing after, listed Kia to let the myth live while the woman behind it faded. Mike hit his knees then, tears carving paths through his beard, the mighty Thunder Rider's boss reduced to sobs in a convenience store. You hauled me from the flames, lost your fingers saving Ramirez, then picked off those bastards one by one while we waited for air support." His crew stunned silent, hardened men who'd stared down rivals, and cops now witnessing their leader shatter. The power flip, so complete it was cinematic, the aggressors humbled, the victim revealed as savior. Sarah watched, uncomfortable, her inner storm raging, years of pushing it down, the pain, the loss, wanting nothing but quiet after the medals and the media circus that tried to parade her as some poster girl. But here it was bubbling up. "Get up," she said, tired. "This ain't about worship." But Mike shook his head, pulling a faded photo from his wallet, a squad pic post ambush, young Sarah Center, dusty fatigues and fresh scars. "This is you, Gunnery Sergeant Sarah Jenkins, Force Recon, call sign Spectre." And Danny stared, shame flooding him. "Bro, we were gonna post this crap online. Harass a hero who saved your ass." The sirens wailed distant then, cops en route from Mr. Nguyen's call, and Mike snapped to, barking at his men, "On your knees all of you." The Thunder Riders dropping one by one, 15 tough guys in leather kneeling before a woman in ripped work clothes, a scene straight out of a redemption flick, their penance raw and real, born from guilt over almost harming one of their own kind. Vets who'd formed the gang to fill the void left by war, but now facing how far they'd strayed. Sarah shifted. "Marines don't kneel." Her voice gentler, acknowledging their need to atone, but Mike looked up, eyes red. We're not kneeling to a marinere apologizing to the woman we disrespected, the one who gave everything so we could breathe free. And as the cops pulled up, lights flashing chaotic patterns, Mr. Nguyen bursting out, still shaky but protective. She good worker. These men bad, but now kneel why? Mike stood, jacket off, draping it over her shoulders with reverence. Take this, Spectre, least we can do. The scent of road and regret wrapping her like a shield. His crew followed, offering shirts, gestures absurd but sincere. Danny stepping up choked. Sarge, Mike's told me about Spectre forever, how you held that ridge solo. Shrapnel in your neck. Hand torn but still firing him, deleting that video. Swear. And Vic, rolling his sleeve to show his own core ink. Corporal Vic Ramirez, 3rd Battalion I, was in the follow-on convoy. Heard the radio chatter by the time we broke through. You'd cleared him out. 14 kills. All precision while bleeding out. They used your op and training manuals after. Sarah's jaw clenched. Memories assaulting, smoke choking her lungs. The weight of decisions that sent friends home in bags. The endless surgeries stateside. Prosthetics learning to feel wrong. TBI headaches that blinded her for days. And the brass pushing her into spotlights she hated. Politicians shaking her mangled hand for votes while cutting VA funds. Bitterness sharp as the scars. It was just the job, she muttered, but it rang hollow, her soul weary from hiding. Choosing this gas station gig for anonymity, no salutes, no expectations, just stocking shelves and finding peace in the mundane. But fate wasn't done. The phone rang. Mike's unknown DC code, and Sarah sighed. Answer it. Knowing somehow, and on speaker, a crisp voice boomed. Mr. Harlan. Colonel Ellis. Sockham, we've located Gunnery Sergeant Jenkins. The room freezing as he explained the triggered alerts from the 911 and GPS. We've been searching for you. Sarge, your country's calling again. Not for combat, but to train. To mentor young operators on surviving the fight and the after, especially women breaking barriers. Her experience gold for teaching resilience. Sarah hesitated, phone heavy. With respect, sir, I gave all I had him out, but Ellis pushed. You're not broken. Jenkinsiri proof of what endures. Teach him to come home whole. And the bikers watched awed. This legend they'd bullied now courted by the elite. Shame deepening their resolve. She sank onto a stool then, jacket loose, opening up rare. After evac, 15 months at Bethesda, 10 ops, relearning everything with 3 fingers. Migraines that drop meth in the suits wanted me as their shiny toy. Tours and photos with folks who don't give a damn about us vets. So I let him list me dead. Took a new start here, quiet, no glory. Her words heavy with the conflict, the pull between hiding safety and the call to help others avoid her pain. Mr. Nguyen tearing up, envelope out with savings he'd tucked away. Miss Sarah, you strong like warrior, take this, you deserve. And Mike fierce. You're not slinging sodas anymore, way protect our own. Job at my firm, security gig, train, or whatever, but not this. Words spread like wildfire through vet networks. By morning, bikes and trucks rolling in. Folks from Nevada to New Mexico paying respects. The lot of makeshift reunion. Stories swapped over coffee. Tears and laughs mixing as Sarah stood center. Overwhelmed but thawing. No longer isolated in her scars. 3 days on. Surrounded by Thunder Riders turned guardians, Mike vowing shifts to watch her back. Their gang shifting from troublemakers to vet advocates. Fundraising for wounded warriors. Redemption in action. She dialed Ellis. Sir. Jenkins reporting. When do I start? Cheers erupted, but Mike pulled her aside quiet. Hiding's lonely. Healings with brothers who get itty. Saved me once. Now let us save you a bit. His words lingering as she pondered the future. Not the hidden one she'd built, but one where her broken pieces lit paths for others. 2 months later, at the Special Ops School in California, Sarah stood before wide-eyed recruits, prosthetic steady as she wrote her name, turning with that stare that had seen hell. I'm Gunnery Sergeant Jenkins, Spectre here to teach survival, not just against enemies but the demons after, 'cause the real battle's living with the ghosts, finding purpose in the wreckage if I can. So can you. In the back, Mike and crew in crisp uniforms, guests of honor, their transformation complete, leather traded for legacy. But late nights, she'd stare at old squad photos, buzzing texts from young Marines seeking advice. smiling as she typed back, "Open doors, her new mission." Yet, as fulfilling as it felt, part of me wonders, was pulling her back into the light truly justice? Or just another way the system claims its heroes, denying them the peace they earned? What do you think? Should folks like Sarah get to vanish if they want? Or does duty never end? Drop your thoughts below. Share if you've seen hidden warriors walk among us, or battles for respect in your own backyard. Let's talk about what real honor looks like in a world quick to forget.